Me. Welcome everybody to Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. I am Dr. Cush. Yep, move that. Turn it off so you guys couldn't hear me set up, and that's the bar. Let's do it again. Ready? Welcome everybody to Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. I am Dr. Cush, and this is the State of the Bar address. The segment, the show, where we will discuss how the bar is doing, how the bar has done, and where the bar is going, whether we will be back, whether we will wrap it up. Listen, we have a lot to discuss tonight. We have some pretty fun numbers to show you of the things we've done. I have a couple of ideas for how this goes, but just like the State of the Union address that, you know, the presidents do, I want to hear from you guys. I want boos. I want cheers. I want your ideas coming in to the bar. You guys are a part of this. So anything that you think that the bar needs, that the bar has been lacking, a direction you see the bar going, I want to hear from you. This is as much my address as it is your address. Hopefully all of your microphones are working right off the top, because we have a lot to get done tonight. So before we get too deep into it, watch the introduction, and we'll be back in about, I think it's about 45 seconds, this introduction, maybe 30. See you soon. Welcome to Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. I'm, of course, Dr. Cush, along with my barback Kyle. I'm not a real doctor, but I did spend almost 2 decades running some of LA's best bars. After years of teaching classes and training bartenders, I want to demystify the cocktail world for you. Let's try a few new things as I open up my bar to everybody. Belly up, chat, and let's have a drink. All right, let's get into it. Let me say hello to the people, to all the constituents first. All right, then we're gonna make a drink. All right, I need a drink to get through this. I have a whole thing that I got to do. And then we're gonna talk about how we've done, what we're doing, and what we're doing in the future. Let me say hello, first of all, to Bootopia. Cocktail Lulu, I see that you've written first. So you were technically the first comment of the year. Unfortunately, I didn't get it in time. So let me say hello to Bootopia. Is this where all the cushies hang out? Currently. That is true. That is true. A good evening and a good new year to all of you guys from Shawnee Panda Baker. Tiki Court is here. Hopefully we'll get to meet Tiki Court for real coming up here in Arizona at Arizona Tiki Oasis, where just in the nick of time, 1 day ahead of the time that it was due, I turned in my seminar. So let's hope they still want to hear from me. Otherwise, listen, this is going to be tough. It's going to hurt my feelings. State of the bar, says Kyle's lawyer. I know Kyle's lawyer loves law and law things like states of bars and whatnot. So good to see Kyle's lawyer. Sued me twice this year. Hopefully 2026, she sues me less. Hopefully. We don't know. Moose is here. Moose. Getting quicker with those. Good to see you. Roger G in the place to be. Roger G, glad to have you as part of the community. Just like everybody. Glad to have everybody. I don't know why I singled out Roger. Also happy to have the rest of you, but also Roger G. Two things can be true. Amy Beer is here. Happy New Year to everyone. Indeed. Let's see. Who else do we got? Tiki Bon Bon is here. One of the spirits of the bar. Keeping the bar together since probably before. Listen, Bon Bon probably had more to do with this bar starting than I did. So thank you, Bon Bon. Hope everybody's Christmas was good. Bon Bon is allowed behind the bar. It's tough to do. Captain Jack and Coke, also I believe new this year. Tiki Court and Jack and Coke new to the bar this year. We love the new people. We have a number of new people this year, and we love to see them. Kyle Tender is always here, just because he says, hey, yo, Moose. Hey, everybody, made it in. This is Tiki Tom. Just walked in the door from the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. My goodness. Yeah, Tiki Tom, coming from Indiana, got to be feeling good about, listen, to be very honest with you, I do not care that much at all, usually, for Indiana football. In fact, normally cheer deeply against a team in Indiana. Do not like a single team from Indiana. The University of Indiana is not that team. Very, very excited about Indiana making a whole run. I think Indiana will win all the college football this year, keeping Big Ten supremacy going through, and the SEC is no longer good. Just throw it out there. This is my mom. Happy New Year's to all of you as well. Oh, did I say Tiki Bon Bon was the winner of the 2025 Cush Derby? I should have. Greetings from the football house all the time. Yeah, there we go. Mrs. Tiki Tom knows what's going on. A lot of football going on. A lot of Indiana football going on. Doing really well. BGB the Bun. Hey, y'all. Good to see you, pal. Who else we got in here? Amy Salmon. The Salmons are here. Good to see the Salmons in the house. Cocktail Lulu. Champagne flutes are filled. Airmail cocktails. Popcorn is popping. And the tissues are nearby. Oh, my goodness. Well, I forgot to bring tissues in here. Low Carb Cocktail Guy. Hey, Low Carb Cocktail Guy. Low Carb Cocktail Guy is not new this year. But Low Carb Cocktail Guy, I have a feeling Low Carb Cocktail Guy and I will be working together very soon, because part of what I'm going to talk about is a plan. We got a plan coming. Football is nonstop over here. Cush on TV, though. What? Cush on TV, though. Football is nonstop over here. Cush on TV. All right, well, listen. Kyle started drinking early, and that's all we can say. Who else do we got in the place to be? Dougie G is also in the place to be. Boy, you guys are chatting a lot. Timmy is here. Full send. Absolutely. Good to see you. Motu Jen, producer and savior of the show, is here. My lovely wife. So happy to have you specifically. Right on, Timmy. New Cushies are the best. Yeah, we love the new Cushies. IU is pretty awesome this year, for sure. Tiki Tom, IU is a miracle, and I cannot wait to watch the entire documentary about Signetti and taking a team that was not a good team and bringing them to the national championship. Listen, I guarantee it. The Hoosiers will beat the Ducks, and then, get this, they will beat the Hurricanes. That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that. Okay, let's make a drink because we have a lot to discuss. So this is a tradition during this show. I feel like I went back and watched a few of these to see what I do. I always wear the blue suit because that's the suit that fits me, although it is fitting me a little worse recently. We're going to get into shape in this year. We always make a Manhattan, so let's make ourselves a Manhattan. I'm going to make mine with Noah's Mill today. This is an overproofed whiskey. It comes in at 57%. That's what we want. We want a high-proof whiskey. I'll be making two of them. Kyle said he wanted one, so just follow along as we make it. We're going to go ahead and throw 2 full ounces of some whiskey in here. Just follow along with what I'm saying, not what I'm doing. 2 full ounces. There we go. It's a lot of jibber jabber, a lot of TikTok about how to make a Manhattan. Is it a 1/4 ounce? Is it a 1/2 ounce? No. 2, 1, 2. Vermouth is your friend. I personally, the same way that butter might be my favorite food, Because when I think about it, all of my favorite foods have butter in it. I don't think I would eat butter just by itself. I wouldn't drink vermouth just by itself. I would, however, put butter in anything I'm eating. Cereal, I'll put butter in it. Pop-Tarts, I will spread butter on Pop-Tarts all day long. We're talking ice cream with butter. Yes, makes it better. Vermouth is the same way. So don't be afraid of vermouth. Vermouth got a really bad rap years and years ago. We're doing a 2-to-1 Manhattan. So that is going to be 2 parts whiskey to 1 part vermouth. A 1-to-1 vermouth, 1-to-1 Manhattan. Also very nice. Also very nice. Not today though. Keeping it traditional. I'm wearing a suit. Got to keep it traditional. We're gonna throw in some bitters. Lots of great bitters in the world. But for a traditional one, we're going to be putting in some Angostura bitters. This is Amy Beer's bottle. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's for 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's for 2. And a little extra because vermouth is delicious. Despite every once in a while, I get notifications. I get a notification on my phone. It starts binging. Bing, 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 bing. And I know what that bings are. I know what the bings are. I know what that means. It means that Mixed Cocktail Hour, the show that I used to work with, has put up my old video of me lighting bitters on fire. It also means that I'm getting an awful lot of hate from a website that I have almost no affiliation with anymore. From people telling me how disgusting my cocktail looks, how gross it is to put 10 dashes of bitters into an old fashioned, how I have no idea what I'm talking about, how I'm ruining a barback's life, how I've destroyed the whiskey, how I've burnt the world down. I know that just happened like 2 days ago. So I'm very deeply aware of my bitters use recently, but whatever. Bitters is delicious. Lots and lots of ice. You see that since we're making 2 of these, we put a lot of ice in there, but there's still ice. There's still ice that is not, or there's no ice that is not touching the liquid. We need ice that's touching the liquid. So we're gonna go straight to the top here. I always feel so much classier when I bartend in a suit. We're gonna get way down here. We're just gonna give this a big old spin. Recently got a mean comment from a person about my stirring video. They said, so what you're telling me is you stir the cocktail, and that's how you stir a cocktail. I had to respond. I said, I don't think you watched the video. If you notice, all of that ice is staying in one place. It's circling. It's going. You can notice the same piece of ice. You can watch this. Watch this one right there. See that guy right there? Watch him. As I spin, you'll see him again. There he goes. And again. And again. And again. That's what we're looking for. And we're stirring a cocktail. That is what I'm explaining. And as we spin this little thing, we're seeing that my fingers are doing this subtle little dance. They're just massaging the sides of this spoon. I'm not doing this. It's ridiculous. I'm doing this. Excuse my cough. Recently got over a flu from hanging out with children. Not just any children. I was related to them. But in the future, I can't hang out with children anymore. That's the end. It's one thing we got to talk about today. Dr. Cush is no longer a kid show. All right, we're going to take our situation here, and we're going, oh, you know what we'll do? See if we can't get a fun trick going. We'll go backwards like this. We're going to take, instead of what we should be stirring with, or what we should be pouring with, this is a julep strainer. We all know the julep strainer. How do we know the julep strainer? Because it's not a Hawthorne strainer. It's the only way you know. If it is not a Hawthorne strainer, but is a strainer for cocktails, it's a julep strainer. Good thing to know. Let me tell you a little bit about the logistics of a Hawthorne strainer. You'll notice that the Hawthorne strainer famously has this little bingy. What are we calling it? It's a spring. It has a little spring. Another fun thing to look at, though, is there's this little part right here. Let me see if I can get it without the sun shining right into it. Right there. Boop, boop, boop. See, there's that little strainer? Liquid. This is going to blow you guys' minds. don't know if you guys are ready for this. I'm reading a couple science fiction books right now. I'm reading Project Hail Mary. Awesome. Very, very good. I'm only like 2 chapters in, but still very good. So I'm going to give you a little science fact. Liquid cannot be poured through solids like metal. So this is metal. Boop. So hopefully, if we get this right, we should be able to... Should I find another one? I'm going to find a better one to do this. Give me a little bit more grace, since I'm used to bartending in t-shirts, and now I am bartending in a suit. I have a lot less dexterity. I'm feeling a lot slower today. That's why all these bartenders in suits, boy, are they specific with how they move. You don't want to play games? There we go, right there. We're going to take this guy, we're going to pour this, and we're going to see if we can't pour this into 2 different cups at the same time. Let's just see if we can do it. If not, we'll spill all over the place. I have my towel ready to go. Oh, we spilled everywhere. All right, well, let's pour this. Let's try this again. Nice and slow. There we go. That's what we're looking for. A double pour into those. Spilled a little. Kyle, I'll pour you another one later. It's a live show, everybody. That's how live shows go. Dr. C, are you practicing for the job at the Savoy? Yes. Yes, I will follow in the footsteps of Coley Coleman. I will follow in the footsteps of all of the great Savoy bartenders. And there we go. Fine. Kyle will still take this. Okay, Kyle, come and get your cocktail. I'm going to give you the... Well, I'll give you the bigger one, because I can pour myself more. Kyle doesn't know how to pour drinks. Kyle, come get this. We will do a toast to everybody. Yes, this was a New Year's Eve trick. Yes, that was definitely a New Year's Eve trick. I just messed it up a little bit, but that's how it works. Kyle, there are, if you look in the place where they are, you can find a cherry. Oh, you want a cherry right now? I got a good cherry for you. Kyle, don't move. We want to garnish this. Why not? With a cherry, a good cherry. Bloop. There you go. Get myself a good cherry. It's the best part of the Manhattan anyway. Put this here. Bloop. And there we go. Put this away. Kyle, for all the good work you have done, buddy, thank you for everything that you do for the bar. And thank you for always being, as Bootopia says, so close. How are you always so close? That's a question that I ask in my nightmares. Why, oh why, is Kyle always so gosh darn close? Okay. No, Kyle does not live in my garage apartment. Kyle lives in a tent under his orange tree. That's where he lives. Ooh, that's a strong one. Forgot how strong that was. Okay. All right, let's get into it. The bar was successful this year. Now, what do I mean by successful? I have some numbers for you, if you don't mind. This is a numbers day, after all. There we go. Go right here. So, this year, and this year alone, we had 132,588 views across the whole channel. 132,588 views. We also had people watching me. Now, not any one of you. It's now, yes, good. Now it's a 2-story tent. We had people. The tent is getting outrageous, if I can be honest with you. And Kyle, I think we probably should call in the city. I would call your lawyer. We had people with their eyes on me for over 5,000 hours throughout the entire year. That's a lot of time for people to sit and watch me. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Really good. Now, what's good about those numbers is those are up 25% from last year. Sorry, I forgot I had there's a whole thing that's got to go along with this. Low Carb Cocktail Guy always thought Kyle lived under the stairs like Harry Potter. No, Kyle, we do not. We live in Southern California. We do not own stairs. We instead have tents. We have tents outside. So in looking at those numbers, I can see that the show is certainly moving forward. It is not moving backwards in everything except for subscribers. We are down 10% from last year. We are not gaining subscribers. Now, subscribers is not what this is all about. Subscribers was always an afterthought. To be very honest with you, views and watch hours was always an afterthought. That was never what it was about. This show has always been about community. This show, not always, after the first year, this show was always about community. This show was about finding more like-minded people, people that had grown tired of going to bars, people like myself who no longer go to bars unless it is a very special occasion. In my mid-20s to mid-30s, I was at a bar every single night. Made it there every single night. Recently, I have found that I would rather step in a bear trap than go into a bad bar. However, there's something that has always been very true about bars, and that is, in my opinion, and you can throw me other third spaces. You guys know what a third space is? There you have home, which is first space, work, which is second space, and then third spaces. That's a place where you can go that isn't home or work. You can throw me another third space where you can go and you can find people that believe nothing about what you believe in. They don't think the way that you do. They don't believe the way that you do. They don't practice the same way that you do. They don't, nothing about their life is the same as yours. But when you get there, you are all at the same place. Everybody needs a cheers. We think about Dr. Fraser Crane. He was a snooty, what was he? A psychologist? Psychoanalyst? He was a snooty. He was a snoot. And he sat next to Norm, who was the opposite of a snoot. He was bartended on by Sam, who was an ex-athlete, a jock. A jock, can you believe it? Who had Carla. Carla, what was Carla up to? Other sides of the track, certainly not a jock. Not with that body, she's not jumping over anything. But they all came together, and they all met, and they were all able to talk about their days and their lives as if they were a family. That is not a family that you're going to meet at the library. That is not a family that you're going to meet at a running club. That is not a family that you're going to meet anywhere else except for a bar. So, what we have been trying to accomplish for these, and get this, ready? 6 years. Almost 6 years. 6 years in April. We will have been running this show started off in the back room of a in a Los Feliz apartment, shot completely on a cell phone on top of a table with a different sign. You guys can't see the sign, but it's right here. The old sign sits right there. Where we were, more than anything, I was trying to teach. I had been a teacher for a long time. I had taught cocktails for over 10 years at that point. And when the whole world shut down, the one thing that I wanted to do was to continue to teach. So my friend, the Apostle of Tiki, wrote me and he said, I think the thing you should do is take your classes online. And I did. You know what? Nobody watched them. Nobody watched them for a long time. I believe there were, in the first maybe 8 months, I would get on very nervously and I would do about a 15-minute show because I would talk way too fast. I would do about a 15-minute show. And if we got 8 people to show up, I was flabbergasted. I was over the moon, didn't know what to do with myself. 8 people showed up to this thing, lost my mind. Very, very grateful for those 8 of you that showed up. And then the strangest thing happened. I kept going. The bars came back online. They offered me a different job to come back. I was the head of beverage. They offered me a different job, which would be bartender, and I did something, and I to this day don't know whether this was incredibly stupid or whether I was betting on myself. And the interesting thing is, two things can be true. You can do stupid things and bet on yourself. And that's what I did. And since then, I have continued to bet on myself. And I know that a lot of people can look in on my life sometimes and say, yeah, dude, you were like, weren't you like the king of the bars in downtown? Weren't you best bartender in Los Angeles in 2018? Shouldn't you be like running your own bar at this point? Shouldn't you be at this place and this place and this place? Yeah. Yeah. I probably should. But I didn't see my path going that way. I didn't know what my path was until people started watching this show. And then I realized that first year, I was coming from competitive bars. I was coming from places, like I said, I was #1 bartender in Los Angeles in 2018. You don't just get that because somebody walks in and points at you and says, hey, it's this guy's turn. I fought. I put my nose down. I yelled and I screamed and I did it until I got perfect. And I made enemies. I made great friends, but I made enemies, and I made sure that other people knew how very great I was, because at that point, it was about me. When I was bartending, that was about me. I wanted to be the #1 best bartender in the world. And then the whole world got sick, and I realized how very, very fragile that was. And from there, I pivoted and I bet on myself. And I said, I have a very interesting set of skills. I don't know anybody else that has these sets of skills, right? I was an improv teacher. I taught improv, so I know how to speak on my toes, right? I was a writer. I wrote the very first television show that was ever on Hulu. The reason that Stranger Things is on the air right now and we can watch it on a service like Netflix is because myself and my writing partner and the rest of that writing staff, we bet on ourselves and we said, we're going to sell this show to Hulu and not to the Discovery Channel, something that was already ready to go. We said, we're going to bet on ourselves. And we did. You know what happened to that show? Canceled. All right. Not a great example, but we did it. We got it made. And because of what we were doing, because we were saying at the same time, I don't know if you guys remember any of this stuff. There was a show called Lilyhammer. Lilyhammer was on Netflix, and Battleground, the show that was that I was writing for, was on Hulu. Lilyhammer had 3 seasons. Hulu, the Battleground got canceled after 1. I'll tell you another little thing about Hulu. This is just going to be me rambling, so I might as well just get into it. Oh gosh. There was a character on that show named Cush. The character's name was Cush. You know why? Because we wrote him for me to play him. I went in, I bet on myself, and I auditioned. And I auditioned poorly. Really, really badly. And you know what? A more famous person got the role of Cush. At that point, I started to realize, oh my God, there is somebody in the world better at playing me than I am. Terrifying thing to realize. But, I bet on myself, I rolled the dice, and yes, that one didn't come up my way. Where was I going? Okay. So I was writing. So I know how to structure things, right? I had a show in Westwood. It was called, and get this, you're not going to be ready for this. It was called The Scott Cushman Show. It was a talk show. It was a live talk show. I brought guests on, and my old writing partner and I sat down, and I learned how to interview. I learned that. That's not something that you just do. It took me a year and a half of sitting down, bringing people in off the street to sit them across from me and interview people that I'd never heard of before so that I could get my interview skills up. Well, I don't know anybody else that spends I work with people that interview all the time. I don't know anybody that went through the rigorous interview training that I have. The Scott Cushman Show lasted for about a year and a half and then disappeared. I had a writing group that I was with called the Clubhouse of Dickheads. Don't look them up. Whatever. I was kicked out of that group. I was thrown out of that group. I was still betting on myself, and it didn't work out. Didn't work out. I have been doing these things constantly, and I have bet on myself constantly. And you know what? None of them have worked out until I realized what I was doing wrong. What I was doing wrong is I was doing those for me. They were called the Scott Cushman Show. I wrote a character named Cush. I was teaching improv, and I wasn't doing improv, because teaching improv meant that I couldn't be embarrassed, right? I was doing improv, but I was also teaching it. I was doing things for myself. When this show started rolling, at first I was doing it for myself. I was going to be I was going to beat How to Drink, and I was going to beat Steve the Bartender. I was going to be the biggest show on YouTube. I was going to absolutely destroy all of the other shows. Anytime they got success, I got angry. I got jealous. I got mean about it. I say, "Whoa, he's not even doing it right. He's pouring the expensive stuff in first. That's no bartender. Get him out of here," I would say. And I was filled with a lot of vitriol. I was filled with a lot of meanness. And then this show came about, and people started to watch. People started to say nice things in chat, and I started to realize this isn't about me. It's never been about me. I can facilitate, but this isn't about me. So I am going to continue to bet on myself, but I am also now betting on all of us. With all of us together, this show will become what it needs to be. Will this show ever become the number? Will I ever be in the same breath as Mr. Beast? Will it be Dr. Cush and Mr. Beast? No. Maybe. What do I know? I don't know. I have no idea. But that's not the goal anymore. The goal was once to beat everybody. The goal now is to bring everybody in. We don't talk politics on the show. We don't talk controversy on this show, because in a bar, nobody cares. Nobody cares what you feel. Outside the bar, seems like when I turn on the news, it seems like everybody cares what everybody thinks. I've never been in a bar and cared about what anybody ever thought. So as we've adapted this show, I have found that it is much more important to bring people together than it is to beat people. So we are no longer, after that first year, and my wife and my barback, they can both tell you, I was somewhat insufferable. I would watch other people do it, and I would get upset. Why do they have more people watching than I do? Why do they get to do this as a living, and I don't? I still don't. This is not my living. This is not even close to my living. I have 5 other jobs that I do in order to keep this going. But because this is the first time in my life I have ever understood how important it is to create a community versus making myself the head of something that I finally feel at peace. So, let me drink this while I do nothing with my eyes. So, it does seem scary sometimes. Sometimes I wake up in the night and I think, what have you done? What have you done? You had a career. You were on your way to being a bartender's bartender. You were on your way to being that thing. I was on my way to finding. That's true. I just want to do this. Yes, Kyle Tender is the best barback. I was on my way down the Sammy Roth path. I was on my way to, being best friends with Sasha Petrasky, rest in peace. I was on my way to being a person that has, that had it all, in my opinion. But I never realized the thing that I didn't have at that point was a community. And over the last few years, that is what we have done. And I no longer say it's what I have done. It's not me. It isn't me. Yes, I'm the one that figured out how to do the tech. I'm the one that brought my knowledge of bartending to you guys. I'm the one that shares my stories on your screen. But without you guys, it's just me trying to be the best again. But you guys are here, so I don't have to. I always used to tell my wife, I want a fish tank. Why do I want a fish tank? Why would a fish tank do me good? Because a fish tank you can either do or not do. You can't be the best at a fish tank. I wanted to be the best for years and years and years. I wanted to be the best. Anybody in my way, get out of my way. I'm coming through. I'm going to steamroll you over. But with a fish tank, the fish either live or they die, right? You can't be good at a fish tank. I always wanted a fish tank. And then I realized how much work goes into it, and I don't want a fish tank anymore. But I then realized what this place was. This place is my fish tank. That's why we have the drink. I either do this or I don't do this, right? If I'm sick, I don't do it. Yeah, I could try and be better at this, but it doesn't matter. I'm fighting invisible forces. I'm fighting the YouTube algorithm. I'm fighting age. I'm fighting my look. I'm fighting a lot of other things that I can't fight. I can't fight those things, but I can just turn this thing on, get in front of my community, and chat. And the fact that you guys found me, it makes me. This is the best thing I've ever done in my life. I'm finally calm. I'm finally not fighting. And I am doing something that I love. Kyle, can I get a tissue or something? I can't. I spilled a whole I don't want to rub Manhattan in my eye. Anyway, that is where the bar is at. We are continuing to move this forward. We are not closing it down. We're not even in danger of closing this thing down. I don't know what I would do without this place. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Good toss. Thank you. We're not closing this place down. We're not even coming close to closing this place down. We are, of course, like every year, we are going to make a couple changes. That's it. I would love to hear what your... Oh, so I guess the point of that whole story is thank you to everybody that shows up, that makes me better. Not the best, Because what the hell does the best even mean? What makes me better? Thank you for being my fish tank. I turn this on and I am better. So thank you to all of you. This is what, oh, let me say hello to Pismo CC. Well, that's nice. This is the only YouTube channel I arrange my Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for. Thank you, Pismo. I saw a lot of very nice comments. I couldn't read all of those because I was in the middle of having some sort of allergy attack in my eyes. Solo bartenders write great books, but more people go to bars for the community. Exactly. The British and the Irish have understood that for centuries. The best bartenders I've ever met are those who foster that. Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's a good comment there, George. I did not realize that. I thought that if I was the best, then everything else was the best, and that's just not the case. So this is what we're gonna do. This is and then I to be honest with you, I think that the show is great as it is. Could I do a little bit more work on doing shorts? Yes. Could I schedule the shows a little bit further ahead of time? Yes. Okay, great. Those are two things that I can do on my end. I will do that. This show is important to me. I have seen that the things that get the most reactions are my shorts, and that's how we find other people to find the community. I'm not going to do different types of shorts. I'm going to do we tried this year for 2 weeks to do behind Thur scenes, where I would bring you guys behind the scenes and I would film a short. And to tell you what, that just didn't work. Didn't work. The spontaneity wasn't there. Again, I was an improv teacher for forever. I'm better on my feet than I am with something that's written. Not a great actor. But if you let me improvise, I will do it. So I'm going to continue to improvise these things. So anyway, so the shorts will continue to exemplify exactly what this show is. I'm a cocktail buffoon. That's when I'm at my best, when I'm a cocktail buffoon. I know a lot, and I sort of surprise you when I say something intelligent, because in the end, I don't want to be any more than a buffoon. I want to be goofy. If I had the choice, I would always be the court jester instead of the king. I'd much rather be the jester than the king. And so I'm going to continue to be the jester. So we'll, on my end, we will continue to do that. One thing I am changing for you guys, Bootopia is going to fight me on buffoon. I like the word buffoon. If you guys have a better word, I like buffoon. Cocktail jester, I will also accept. One thing we will be changing. So for years and years now, I have been just making cocktails. I find a cocktail, I make it, and we sit and enjoy it. What I was doing before this was teaching. I was teaching how to do stuff. In the end, I truly believe that for a lot of what I do, there are better ways to do it by just opening up a cocktail book. So we're going to stop doing that. We're going to stop doing that. I am going to be focusing this next year on things like technique. All right. I have amassed a huge, I have amassed a large library of cocktail techniques. Why we do this. So instead of picking a new cocktail every single time we do it, we're going to repeat some cocktails. But we're going to get into the why of cocktails. We're not going to get into the how of cocktails anymore. That's the last 5 years. We're going to get into the why of cocktails. Why do we fill our glass all the way to the top with ice? Well, there are a lot of great cocktails that will teach you how to do that. But then, isn't it better to know why? That way, as you go on your own cocktail journey, you will know. So that's the main focus shift that we are going to have here. My my wife, right before this, was reminding me of a friend of ours who is doing very well. She's doing great. She's out there making movies, kicking ass. She's a lady boss. She's just a boss. In fact, she's just a boss. I mean, just she's a boss. And even when she was struggling, she called herself an empire. What she was leading was an empire. I thought that was an interesting way to phrase it. But in order to make this thing work, we will have to sort of spread out a little bit. So, oh, good. Loriander has some great suggestions. Great. I want to hear them. Let me just finish this, and I want to get into all of your suggestions on what to do. We're going to spread out. We're going to spread out. I know that just moments ago, our very good friend, Roger G., said solo bartenders write great books. Well, I am, after this, I am no longer, after starting this community, I'm no longer a solo bartender. But I am going to start my book this year. So we are going to take the Cush recipes and we're going to start it. Now, how does that work? How do we get going? I don't know, but I will need your suggestions. I want this to be Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks book. So if you guys have recipes of mine or recipes that you just love, you let me know, because we're going to start building this as a community. We're going to make the community the empire. We are also going to start a class. Now, what class is that? Yes, we meet here 3 times a week for class. That's true. There are a lot of techniques that I don't get into because I don't want to repeat them constantly to you guys. But for new people, I think it's important for them to catch up to where we're at, right? For those of you that have been following me for years and years and years, every time I say, you know, fill your ice all the way to the top, you're like, all right, we get it. Bro, get to the drink. Get somewhere else. Find something else to say. We're not going to talk about those anymore. I'm going to start a separate class that's we're going to be putting up, we're going to be putting up on Patreon for those of you that want to get a kickstart on how to be home bartenders. That'll do a couple things. First of all, it will of course help booster the Patreon, which is where the money for the this bar and the reason that we can keep doing this bar, that's where that comes from. But also it will give us a baseline, so I can say to you guys, hey, if you want to know more about this little technique, pop on over to the Patreon and figure it out. Cool. And then yeah, Amy Beer only wants recipes without pineapples. That's fine. We'll have a whole section called the Amy Beer section. Tiki drinks without pineapples. Okay. And that is, I think that's it. One second. I have a list here. I wrote a few things out before we started, but remember how bad I am at doing this. We're gonna do more shorts. I got the hang of the tempo, but I got to do. Yeah, and this year we're going to focus on education, not just making cocktails, but why we make cocktails. Yeah, so so in the end, this is pretty good. Oh, one thing I forgot to say: we did have one video reach the 50,000 viewer mark this year. It's a weird one that I would have never expected to hit. It's a short, but 50,000 different people watched it this year. It was called A Rare Shake Technique, the Whip Shake. And I realize I don't talk about the whip shake all that much anymore. So we're going to find those little things. We're going to make those into shorts and go from there. Shawnee P says no grapefruit. Great, we'll have the Shawnee P section too. All right. Your teaching is what separates you from some of the other online who are nothing more than voiceover guys for the books. Yeah, I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for, Tim wants to know more about the wash line. Kyle's lawyer is very excited about technique. Yeah, we're going to get into technique. Best bars I visited are not some place with an awesome menu. The best bars are the ones with the best bartender that connect with you and listen to you, and I will be, I keep coming back. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, that's what this bar is meant to be, and I can only credit the fact listen, I am humbled. I'm humbled that we have as many people watching the live shows as we do. I don't do anything other than this show, but I kind of have to. You know, I got to turn the camera on to get the community rolling. I don't do anything 3 times a week, and a lot of you guys do. So the fact that you guys continue to show up means that I may be moving forward. Yes, community and technique. We got this. That's what we got. Community and technique. That's what we're up to. Okay. Would you consider mocktail versions alongside for times when alcohol isn't a good idea? Yeah. Uh, so, Mrs. Tiki Tom, yes, I think that's in the coming year. When I turn on the show, I notice that you guys usually have a drink of your own that you're making. If you like the drink that I'm making, then you'll say, oh, I'm going to make this later. You guys aren't making the drinks along with me. So I think more importantly, it is going to be teaching you guys how to do these things. And mocktails is such a great way to do it. The moment you have your one hand tied behind your back, is the moment that your other hand has to be stronger, right? When we can just say, add more rum to a drink and it'll taste great, then we don't really have to worry about a lot of stuff. Mocktails is a place that I didn't go to for a long time because, and I'll be very honest with you, was a little afraid, a little terrified of having to learn a brand new techniques, all these new techniques, how to get my syrups right, how to distill things without without the alcohol, you know, with all of those interesting techniques that go along with mocktails in order to make them not just juice. Those are big. So we will absolutely be making more mocktails in the coming year because I think more important than me just telling you guys how a drink was made and telling you who made it, I think why this drink was made and why it's made the way it is a good. Okay, if I can get a wine club, yes, a wine club with books to pick the Cush book, my new merged life will be complete. Yeah. So I know we did one this year. I'm going to finish this book I'm reading, and I have the next book for Dr. Cush's Exotic Book Club picked out. It is one of my very favorite books. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. I don't want you guys to get a head start on it, by one of my very favorite authors. And it does deal a little bit peripherally with alcohol. So we're going to get that going. Oh, this is my manager, Mark. This is Mark Finley, everybody. He's my writing manager. Funny that you would show up on the day that I told my entire writing story, but it's good to hear you. No, it is not. We have done, we have done Hemingway. It will not be Hemingway. It will be my favorite writer of all time, but we'll get into it soon. Okay. Let me know, guys, if you have anything that you want to add. Mark says hi, everybody. Everybody say hi, Mark. If we're naming chapters, can the pineapple grapefruit chapter be called the Roger G chapter? Yes, absolutely. If we're only using pineapple and grapefruit, then absolutely that'll be the Roger G chapter. Listen, you guys are as big a part of this as I am, so we're gonna do Dr. Cush's exotic drink book, and we're gonna make this thing work as a community. There we go. Hi, Mark. Hiya, Mark. We have a book club. Yes, we had a book club at the beginning of the year. I lost steam on it, but we're going to go back to the book club because that's something, again, that I really liked. And we're going to do a book, and we're going to drink a cocktail with it. Okay. I guess we'll wait for, if you guys listen, in the end, if you guys have anything that you want to add to this, you know where to find me. We're here Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays here at Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks, starting at 6 p.m. Sometimes we go until 7. Sometimes we go until 6:45. Sometimes we go until 6:30. And that is what I got. Oh, and Enchanting Innovations, who gave us our good friend. What's your name again? Ernie. Gosh, I forgot his name. Ernie. Okay. Yes, and then we will plan a meetup. I usually watch on Instagram, but now I know this is where the action is. Yeah, this is definitely where the action is. Okay, I'm going to attempt something. Yes, thank you, Ernie. Yeah, it's 10 p.m. here. Yeah, sorry about that. On the East Coast. Just think as you're watching this, think about how good the Indiana Hoosiers are doing. I'm gonna read you. I want to read you guys. I'm gonna finish this off with a poem. One of my very favorite poems of all time, by a man named Walt. A man named Walter. Walt Whitman. It's called "Oh Me, Oh Life." And I'm going to do my very best to get through it, but it reminded me of what we do here. So, oh me, oh life, of the questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish, of myself forever reproaching myself, for who more foolish than I, and who more faithless? Of eyes that vainly crave the light, of the objects mean, of the struggles ever renewed, of the poor results of all, of the plodding and sordid crowds I see around me, of the empty and useless years of rest, with the rest me intertwined. The question, oh me, so sad recurring, what good amid these, oh me, oh life? The answer, that you are here, that life exists, and identity, that the powerful play goes on and you may contribute a verse. This is my verse. With everything shitty that's going on everywhere, this is my verse. And thank you for being part of it. I will continue. I will continue to bet on myself. It's empty. Damn it. I will continue to bet on myself. I will continue to bet on you, and we will continue. The state of the bar is strong, and without you, it wouldn't be. So thank you. As always, I am Dr. Cush. This is Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. We do classes Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. If you can help out, just do it by showing up. Thank you. Happy New Year. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday.